Aloha, welcome from Antioch, California, and welcome to 6 Questions with a Legend, the California Pioneers Edition. Today I am here to interview one of the true pioneers of the martial arts from the Northern California region, Rick Alemany, now Senior Grandmaster Alemany. Senior Grandmaster Alemany came up in the era where there was no pads, only tape, only a cup when you were fighting, and you did not leave the ring unless you were bloody. It's reminiscent of Aldo Coscos, Robert Halliburton, Steve LeBounty, Gabe Vargas, and Aldo Coscos. So please enjoy my interview with Senior Grandmaster Rick Alemany. Senior Grandmaster Rick Alemany, aloha.
Aloha.
Tell me, when did you first start your martial arts career and with whom?
In 1962, with Great Grandmaster Ralph Castro.
And where was that?
In San Francisco, on Valencia Street.
And what motivated you to get into the martial arts?
At work, I was working at the shipyard, and I punched at this pole, and I went, boom. And this guy said, "You take karate?" I said, "No," but in a kind of like yes way. And he says, "Well, I don't." "Oh, you do? You want to see my classes?" "Yes, I want to see the classes." I went down to Valencia, and I watched how these guys. Nobody made a mistake in all that. They were doing the sets. Nobody made a mistake. I said, "Wow, it was really impressive with their speed and power." So I decided to start. And then I'm thinking he's going to talk me into it. He just said, "When you get your $60, come back." I said, "Oh, okay." And I got the $60 as fast as I could because I could hardly wait to get started. And then I think I was so enthusiastic that I only missed one class in 2 years. And that's because I got a Kempo strike. Where did Kempo hit?
Mm-hmm.
Then I got a cup.
You got smart.
I got smart.
You got smart.
Yeah, I said, don't, you know, hey, boom, oops.
Now, when you were coming up through the ranks, and your initial introduction to the martial arts, it was pretty much a rarity to find any other styles besides the fighting styles in San Francisco. As I recall, there were a few kung fu schools that didn't teach outsiders, particularly the Caucasians. It was a very secretive society. And then there was Kaju Kempo, of course, and then the Kempo system. There was no Taekwondo, and of course there was Shotokan. So what impressed you the most about Great Grandmaster's system, what he calls now? It wasn't called Shaolin Kempo back then, but it was just Kempo Karate.
Right.
What was the greatest impression that you got from Great Grandmaster Castro?
Just speed, power, and accuracy of the techniques.
Mm-hmm.
Doing kata in the air is one thing, doing it with the attack is another. And I think that's what made us do the katas better, because we can imagine that somebody is there because we already did it against a person attacking.
Right,
so
right.
That's what impressed me the most. He was really quick. And when you try to be as fast as he did, or other people try to be as fast as he did, is they never got all the way out. If they watched him, they can see that he went all the way out all the time.
Right,
right. Yeah, extensive. So, yeah, he impressed me a lot, and I thank him to this day for giving me a life.
And when you were coming up through the ranks, did you have any martial arts heroes? Did you have a hero or martial arts heroes?
Well, it was so new that I guess my hero would have been Great Grandmaster Castro. Mm-hmm. Because I was always trying to impress him. Whenever he was watching me fight, I fought harder because I wanted to make him feel good.
Yeah. To see his prodigy or children, because we as instructors have a lot of children, and we watch them develop over the years and grow and go off on their own.
You know, my problem, not this real problem, was I placed in my first tournament, so they're expecting me to do that all the time, and they're not expecting myself to do it all the time.
And you did.
And I did it most of the time.
Yeah, I remember epic matches with you, Frank Ramirez, Oscar Lujan, Aldo Cascos, Steve LeBounty, and then Chuck Norris. And those like you who became superstars of the competitive tournament fighting world.
Like Benny the Jet?
Benny the Jet Urquidez, yes. And so, what has been one of the lasting aha moments in your long, illustrious martial arts career?
So, aha would
your
be
light bulb moment that just flipped the switch for you.
I guess it would have to be where I finally realized that I was a competitor, that I liked the stress that you feel before the fight. And you get addicted to that adrenaline rush. And I said, wow, I'm really competitive. I didn't look at myself as being that great of a dojo fighter, right? But as soon as I got across with somebody, everything changed. And my attitude and everything changed.
Well, you obviously have a lot of other black belts from other styles that have come to you for what you have to offer in the years of experimenting and using me as one of your lab rats and working out the technique to the system as to where you want it. So where do you see your particular system? Okay, so we have American Kempo, we have Shaolin Kempo, we have Kaju Kempo, we have Wunhap Kundo, we have Tumpai. The Alemany brand of Kempo, where do you see that going, say in the next 5 years, next 10 years? How do you see your system evolving? Because Sergio Emperado always wanted Kaju Kempo to evolve. He never wanted it to set. And the same with Bruce Lee. He never wanted it to be the same from a day-to-day basis. So the Alemany brand of Kempo, how do you see that progressing in the next in the years to come?
Well, basically what I'm doing now in the process of doing is combining the different arts that I have and putting them into the Kempo. So I'm using Kempo and then the Jiu-Jitsu. I use the Filipino stick fighting practices, and then blend it together.
Right.
And then so in creating any form, it isn't going to be, hey, let me see how pretty this thing looks first. It's going to be, I would ask one of my students, like Paul, for instance, you know Paul, Paul, pull me in. Then I would use a reaction to that. Then I'd have to back up and go, what's that? How do I do that as a kata? It's always a lot easier to have somebody in front of you to strike. So that's where it's headed for now. I've already created 3 katas really.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So in other words, there are very systemized martial arts. Shotokan, Taekwondo. It's pretty much cookie cutter as to your system and the Kempo system as a whole, because you look at the combative techniques first, and you're looking at it through a different viewpoint, whereas, okay, I could work this, I could work, how is this going to work? So practicality comes first, and then you develop your katas. Is that correct?
That's correct. I was working with one of the guys who used to practice with Raul Castro, and he came to see, hey, what am I doing now? And he goes, oh, you're concentrating more on the self-defense aspect of it. He said, I'm just doing it the way I learned it. And I said, well, if something didn't work, then I changed it. If I had to clip the guy's rib cage and had a choice of clipping it or driving it through, I kind of would go for the driving it through kind.
Right.
So he said, he noticed that. I never thought of it as that. How am I doing this? Well, some of the self-defense aspect of it first. This is going to be functional. Not all techniques are functional for everybody. They got to find what works for them and what doesn't work. So on technique, I said, "Wow, it didn't work in this big guy with big muscles."
Right.
And I said, "So then what did you learn from that?" Well, it was real difficult to do. No, don't do that technique on that guy.
Yeah, right. And so, you know, adaptability also plays a big part in your system, because when I was coming up to the ranks with you, if somebody couldn't do one technique, you always had 2 or 3 other alternative techniques, which is called adaptability.
Exactly, right.
Okay.
Right. So kata, there's a certain pattern to doing your kata, and then when you do the attack, you adapt to the attack. Because they say, wow, that's not the same exact move that's in the kata. Of course not, right? Because now you have an attacker. How big is he? How small is he? Is he your size? So adapting to the attacker all the time. Angles.
Going back to you being a pioneer of point fighting, back in the day where there was no safety kicks, because Junri hasn't invented yet. I don't think Junri was in the United States yet. With his safety kick, those bright yellow Donald Duck kind of things that we used to use. What was your most memorable match, and with whom?
There's a few. I don't have any names on brown belt, but when I was a brown belt at 66, 67, I won international 2 years in a row.
Right.
It's easy the first year because they don't know you, so you kind of sneak up on everybody.
Yeah.
But I think the most memorable matches is at the Cow Palace when I took Grand. I was lightweight, so I beat the middleweight, the heavyweight, and Schlesinger.
Tom Schlesinger. Right.
For Grand. Tom Schlesinger was a tall guy.
Yeah. So was Bob Halliburton.
Yeah.
Who you fought also.
Yeah. So we kind of backed up, and because it was a tie, and I said, let's see, what do you not do to a tall guy that has a great punch? Back knuckle. So as soon as they bowed, I said, just cut down and said, thank you. No, but I fought Dan Anderson there.
Super Dan.
Yeah, Super Dan. I can't remember who the other name fighters were at that tournament, but when I woke up that morning, I did what I told my students not to do. I went down to school and worked on the bag for 2 hours. Went to the tournament, went to the trophies. That's mine. And then I had my mindset, and for whatever reason, everything seemed to work.
Yeah.
You just have a day that nothing goes wrong. You know, everything goes in your favor.
Well, that's known as in sports terms creative visualization. You already see the success before you even get there.
Right. Yeah,
and that's what you taught me as well.
Yeah. The punch is already there.
No, the punch is already through him.
Yeah. His chest is a magnet to your punch. Chest to backbone.
Yeah. Well, in closing, answer this question for us. I remember when
there was a lot more respect in the art. Okay, I remember when power counted. You know, people say you're playing tag. No, without any gloves, tag hurt. Right? So I think that's. I remember when there used to be that. They don't teach enough respect in the schools. They don't teach respect to their fighters. You know, remember you guys are always going, whether you win or lose, you have the same attitude, right? Hey, I lost, thank you very much. You know, hey, I won, yeah, thank you very much. You don't gloat, right? You just, you try to make the guy feel good when he won, just like you want him to feel good.
Right.
So.
Right. Well, in closing, I just wanted to say mahalo nui loa to Senior Grandmaster Rick Alemany, coming to you from Antioch, California. All you YouTubers out there, remember, this is 6 questions with a legend. Aloha.
Aloha.
In